Hi everyone, it's Anne with a full moon reading for our full moon in Sagittarius, which occurs on Tuesday, June 14th at 4:52 a.m. And as you may know, we are still in Gemini season. So the Sagittarius full moon will balance our sun in Gemini, which is a sign of mutable air. And to me, that represents freedom of the mind, mental freedom, the power to be free with our thoughts and express who we are with freedom. The air element is embodied in our breath, in our speech, in our words. And so this is a very appropriate time for Pride Month. And in honor of that, I will be pulling a card from my Pride deck. But also, the Sagittarius full moon is illuminating the freedom of our spirits. Sagittarius is the mutable fire sign. So on the opposite end of the Sagittarius-Gemini axis, we have freedom of mind and freedom of spirit, the fire element. And that is showing up in how we express ourselves artistically, creatively, with our passion, with who and what we love, and our spiritual beliefs, which is very much about Sagittarius's focus on philosophy and the greater culture in which we live. So let's celebrate that. And also I would like to note that Saturn just went retrograde and will be retrograde until October. But because it's just beginning its retrograde cycle, now may be an excellent time for us to revisit and revise our routines and our habits and our ways that we structure our time. Time and structure are two things very much ruled by Saturn. And so when Saturn's retrograde, revisiting, rethinking, and redoing any of those things may be very helpful. So revisiting an old routine or practice or discipline that we may have once had and lost, or revising how we work our current routines may be a very beneficial thing right now. So I just wanted to make a note of that, and let's move forward with pulling some cards. So I've already shuffled both of these decks 8 times, but I'm going to shuffle each one once more, and let's see what we pull from the Pride Tarot. So, wow, I'm so amazed. This is the last card I pulled the last time I used this deck, which you may have seen. I believe it was on an Instagram live video that I did. But this card is depicting Frida Kahlo, and that is something I didn't recognize at first the last time I pulled it. But she's got her classic roses in her hair and traditional Mexican dress, and she has 8 love letters that she is hanging up on a red line. So the wands is the symbol of the fire element, and number 8 is a number associated with strength. And so we can connect this with a strong spirit, which is very much something that Frida Kahlo possessed. Any of you who are familiar with her artwork and her life story know that she had a very strong will, a very strong spirit, and that was very much expressed through her painting. These love letters could be considered letters to Diego Rivera, her love and husband and life partner, but they could also be depictions of other correspondences that she carried on throughout her life. But it's a beautiful card, and the artist here is Gabi Angus-West. And I'll read up on this, and if I find anything more interesting, I will post it in the description when I share this reading. But interpreting this card usually for me means looking at the fact that we're talking about spiritual strength, and the number 8 to me is about having a doubly or a fortified foundation. The number 4 is associated with the Emperor, which is all about a strong foundation. So 2 4s is like having a doubly strong foundation. So this is a foundation of the spirit that she is fortifying through her expression, through her words, through her communication, and we see her from above. So it's as if we see her from the air. And I love that this card has showed up again, because this reminds me of something I've been thinking about a lot when I meditate lately. I like to think of myself and imagine myself embodying my higher self and envisioning my human form from above, from a high perspective. And that somehow helps me to kind of take a step back and have a broader perspective about everything that's going on for me in the moment. So for those of you that are practicing meditation, or even just want to picture yourself in that way throughout the day, that's something to consider trying. Picture yourself as if from above, as if you're your higher self observing yourself in this moment. And sometimes that can make experiencing emotions feel a little bit easier, a little lighter, and enables a sense of detachment, which can often be helpful when we're navigating our emotions. But I would like to honor and celebrate this card and recognize its beauty and this beautiful depiction from the Pride Tarot. So thank you for that. And next we will move on to my regular Aquarian deck. This is just always the deck I come back to. It's most familiar to me, and I've had it the longest. So let's move forward because I know this deck a lot better. So we're going to have 3 cards from this one. So first I've got the Queen of Pentacles. Next, the Knight of Pentacles. And next, the Knight of Swords. So one tradition, I'll say, when the court cards come up, is to recognize that these may represent people in your life or people that you know. So I welcome you to use that interpretation as we go through these cards, but these could also be expressions of aspects of ourselves. So whatever feels right, go with that. But I just want to recognize that tradition of observing these court cards as people that we know. So the first one was the Queen of Pentacles. She's the queen of the earth element. And after her, we also had the Knight of Pentacles. So this is about the material plane. This is about the things and the resources we have in our lives, including our physical bodies, but also all of our money and everything related to earning and managing our money and our resources. So the queen is, you could say, the queen of abundance, the queen of everything, literally all of the things that exist. She is, being the queen, she's about the feminine principle of reception and allowing. In other words, allowing abundance to flourish in our lives, allowing wealth, allowing health, allowing ourselves to experience harmony and peace and everything we need in our material lives. So her coming up first may represent someone you know that might be providing abundance or material wealth or resources that enhance our health. Or it might represent that aspect of yourself that allows health and wealth to flourish for you. So I welcome you to take whatever interpretation feels best and to celebrate this presence of receiving health and wealth in our lives. So there's the Queen of Pentacles. And next we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knights are representations of activity or action. And this is action in the realm, again, of the material world. So what this might look like is doing something with our resources. It might mean making changes in our physical situations, making changes in the places we live, or moving money in a sense, or literally moving money, doing some kind of investment. Or anything that has to do with physical labor. The Knight of Pentacles is about making moves in the material world. So this, again, might represent you or someone you know, or just the general vibe of what you're experiencing. I would love to read in the comments what this feels like for you, or any of these cards. But the Knight represents that now is a time for motion, for action, for doing things according to what feels best in our physical worlds. So yeah, let's make the most of that, right? And then finally we had the Knight of Swords. So this is another card representing action, but this is mental action. This is mental activity. So what this could look like is making decisions about what we're going to express to ourselves and what we're going to disallow in terms of thoughts that might come up in our minds. Things that might bubble up, old thinking patterns. As I mentioned, Saturn being retrograde represents a great time to revise old routines. So if we have habits, or we had habits of journaling or of telling ourselves certain stories about certain things, now might be a time to do those differently, or think about what's most appropriate for right now. And we may be moving our minds away from the way we're currently acting, as we can see by the opposing directions that these two figures are facing. We might be moving towards a more receptive mode of thought, moving towards allowing ourselves to think positively and think according to, or along the lines of, receiving wealth, abundance, health, positive experiences, positive relationships, health, whatever is needed, whatever feels good. I welcome you to direct your thoughts that way. So just to recap, we had the Queen of Pentacles about material abundance and receiving it. The Knight of Pentacles about taking positive action in the earth element, and the Knight of Swords indicating making positive